Well, you gotta turn that down. Hello. I'm sorry about them. I was yelling in here earlier, telling my son to be quiet. And I'm pretty sure, and I didn't have my microphone on mute. That's all right. That is all right. So, hello. Let me change my lighting because it look a little, there we go. Let's get some brightness. How are you guys doing today? I am like dead serious promising that I am lately going to be really nice, y'all. I'm going to be real nice. Let me just see something cuz I've been moving this around. There we go. I've been like in renovation and stuff like that with the houses. So I've been podcasting in different areas. So that's that. So I just want to welcome everybody here. I'm Tanisha Levon. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Tonight is going to be a good one. I always say it's going to be good, but I feel like all information is good. You know what I'm saying? You learn something new every day, right? So tonight's going to be good because last week, you guys know, I did the Thank you, Natima. I be trying, girl, because you know how we get. Sometimes they'll be like, girl, shut up. And then I'll be like, dang, we was harsh. But you guys know, last week I did the we have to choose video, right? So you guys know that this group is all about the women who want to reclaim and reignite their divine feminine energy in whatever way, shape, or form that looks to you. Everybody's journey is different. So, we can't like one size fit all cookie cutter the journey, because that's not what we're trying to do today. All right. We're trying to get everybody on their own particular journey of femininity. And this group, again, is to cultivate that divine femininity, but also to help you deal with a divinely masculine man, and or how to attract one. And even further, if you have been operating in a neutral or a dynamic where the polarity has switched, how to actually switch that back. Okay. Because it takes some time. It's a lot of work, but that's what we're here for. You know what I mean? We're here for the work, right? So that's what this group is about. So I don't want us to mince up what the group is about. All right. Dealing with a masculine man, y'all, is not easy. Okay. So pray for us, right? Because it's not easy, because it causes a lot of internal work that most people are just not willing to do. And it's various reasons. It's not wrong or right. It's just various reasons for why certain ones will pick up the work and say, hey, let's do it. And other ones would be like, I don't know about that. All right. It takes so much inner work for us to just navigate through this whole thing. So let me start off with this. I got a lot of points today, and I hope I could get through all of it. I really am trying, but you know what? You got to let the spirit lead, right? So let me start off with this. Masculine energy is not complicated, right? It's just black and white. It is what it is. It's not really complicated. There's not like an algorithm to it. It is very, very simple. We as women make it complicated. So last week I spoke about how we shifted the energy. It was us that shifted the energy that's happening in our world today, because we shift things metaphysically and men shift things physically. So we actually go first energetically, unfortunately. And when I say go first, I don't mean lead. What I mean is that whatever we're thinking and whatever we're feeling manifests for us. That's just how it works. All right. So most men want and require the same thing. I'm sorry. Once again, my phone always goes off when I'm up here. This is annoying. But most men all want the same thing at a core level, right? Some pretend that they don't, but most of them want the same thing from the women in their lives, right? And some men are more tolerant about being around your masculine energy than others. There are some guys that have like I'm not tolerating that. And there's another group of guys that'll be like, all right, I mean, it's not terrible. I can deal with it because she got A, B, C, and D. But most men, if they had to choose, would not choose to be around your masculine energy. All right. So like I said in my last video, men are only going to tolerate but so much, y'all. All right. And the only ones that will tolerate a lot of masculine energy are the ones that are weak in theirs. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. So I need y'all to know that masculine energy moves very specifically. And again, it's the exact opposite of the way we move. So we are always moving in equal and opposite directions. And that's how you keep the polarity. I'm just laying a little bit of groundwork before I get into these keys of how to get a man to devote to you, because that's what we're looking for today. We're looking for the devotion button that's going to be activated within him so that he can give us any and every single thing that we actually want. That's what the nature of this video is today. All right. So sorry, y'all. Party, planning, a bunch of stuff going on. All right. So it's usually the exact opposite of the way we move. We move equal and opposite. So when we're being pleasing to them, to us, when we are being pleasing in a sense where we are in the happy place, it's usually because they're not, and vice versa. So what we want to do is switch that up, where both parties are happy, we're actually both winning. All right. When they're being pleasing to us, you better believe it is because it is something that they're working on. And when we're being pleasing to men, you better believe it's because of something that we're working on. The work is not easy. When a man is being pleasing to a woman and she's happy with him, that is because there's some inner work going on where he's recognizing like, oh, I'm being a brute right here. Oh, I'm being a little mean. Oh, I'm being a little more aggressive than I should be. He's working. When we are feeling pleased and he's pleased with us, is because we're doing work. We're honing down the control. We are watching our mouths, watching our tones, things as such. So when both parties are happy, that means that both people are doing their part. Both people are doing the work. Okay. A lot of us don't truly understand men, and I'm going to tell us why. It's because we were not trained to understand men. By the time we grew up in our generation, like I'm in my 40s, so our generation had the mother that was home and she was either working or housewiving or whatever. But we are the women, this generation right here, we were not taught how to deal with men. One, we might not have had a man in the house. And if we did, we were in the generation where our mother was kind of leading things. So we were never really taught on how to deal with men in general. We were surrounded by a lot of feminine energy. And by the time we grew up, what was happening was men were learning to navigate this new breed of woman that was coming into play. So the breed of women changed. Before, remember, a long time ago, housewives, husband went out, made the bacon, came back in, you cooked the bacon, you took care of the kids. That's what was happening. By the time we grew up, things were different. So we were not learning how to navigate men. Men were actually in the process of going, these women are different. So let us adjust, let us adapt, let us figure out what's going on with these women. And that's the era that we grew up in. The men were trying to figure out the women. Now that generations have happened, 2 or 3, being us having kids and the younger ones that are coming up, now we have no idea how to navigate men because we were never taught. Nobody told us what to do. Nobody said this is what men require, because that wasn't the regime that was happening when we came up. So, I mean, it's not bad or good. It's just kind of like a fact. It is what it is. All right. So the only thing is, the one thing that never happened is, you know how men adjusted, women actually never switched back. So we never actually learned a dynamic. So back then, what happened was women didn't need much. Let's start there. They needed husbands. They needed to be provided and protected for. They needed to rear their children at home. That's all they needed. Women didn't need much back then. As long as our husbands were nice to us while they were going out getting the bacon, that's pretty much all we required back then. But remember, we shifted, and now we have an entirely different version of women that's out here. A bunch of modernized women, not bad in itself, but we are modernized. We are not as old school as we used to be, and we've shifted significantly, and the men had to learn how to navigate this new breed of woman. So while they were learning to navigate the new breed, women were not teaching their daughters how to navigate men. And that's the dilemma that we are in today. They haven't changed. We just haven't learned. That's all it is. Okay. So because we haven't been taught, we as women, as a collective, have decided amongst ourselves that men like what we like. That's what we decided. We got together as a collective vibe and we said, you know what? This is not what y'all like. This is what y'all like. Isn't this true, friend? Friend, this is what he wants. That's exactly what he wants. We're giving each other advice about men and we have no idea what we're talking about. We're like, no, that's what they want. That's what they want. And in our minds, we swear that it's true. And it's all wrong. It's all wrong, ladies. We have it all wrong. It's so sad. Then here's what happens. The men do tell us what they want, right? They be like, yeah, we kind of don't like that. Yeah, we kind of prefer this. Yeah, we don't really like when y'all, do all this and do all that. And then we still come together as collective and be like, oh, you know what? Nah, that's not what y'all want. That's not what it is. This is what y'all want. And this is what we're going to give you. And then we expect them to be happy for it. Like, we're like, here, eat shit and call it dinner. Like, that's kind of where we're at as a people. Girl, the blind leading the blind. Yes. Isn't that terrible? So we have decided, remember I said last week that we decided we could have it all. We want the Prince Charming man. And then we want the guy that's out there for purpose, emotionally intelligent, mature, all that stuff, wants to provide, protect, lead. We want all of it. He doesn't care if we work or not, always there for us, super sweet, willing to bend to everything we want and desire. But guess what? That man's not out there, unfortunately. Sounds good and it sounds believable, but that man's not out there. We can't do both. All right. So what you can do, though, is get an evolved version of a masculine man, one who has learned and is growing through y'all's relationship, how to be the best man for you. The only way a man can learn and grow into how to be the best man for you is by being in the relationship. Men do not learn and grow by books, by reading something, by seeing it. Men have to experience things and then learn it. Men are the ones that have to touch the stove to see if it's hot. They have to deal with consequences. They have to deal with cause and effect. They have to deal with that in order to learn. They cannot be taught by a story. That's just how it works, okay? So long-term relationships prompt growth between the two people. So when you are in a long-term relationship, that's what prompts the growth between two people. How to relate to one another better and how to meet each other's needs better. All right. Oh, this is frozen. All right. So that's the only way you learn is by being in the relationship long term. That's it. You learn how to communicate better, and that comes over time. There are so many things that I understand much more now about my husband than I did when I first met him. There's just certain things that I have a deeper level of understanding now as we've gone through some things, talked through some things, communicated through some things. There's things that I know now, which I didn't necessarily know before. All right. But this is after 14 years of relationship. So there's things I know now that I've grown and evolved, but things that I did not know when we first got married. And had I thrown in the towel or given up early on in the beginning, I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I learned. So I'm always grateful for the lessons and the longevity of time in relationships, because relationships are proven by their longevity, getting through things, getting past things, growing past things. All right. You both got to want to be happy in the relationship, not just one party. And that comes from love, sacrifice, and compromise. So let me say this: masculine men have to really learn how to develop within themselves to be able to love you correctly, because they usually have a tendency to have like a this is my way or the highway kind of mentality. This is especially when they first meet you. They're always kind of like, yeah, well, this is what I said. This is how it goes. And they're very, they're not bendable or giving in that area. And it can't really be like that. They have to grow and evolve and get past that egotized version of themselves in order to actually be able to lead correctly. But what I will say this is, if you go first with the man in the areas like letting him lead and understanding him and keeping your own feminine energy, he will start to bend for you. I promise you that. We're going to get more into it, but I just got to lay this groundwork because I'm going to show you the keys to devotion, y'all. If your man is going to be egotistical, because I hate to use the term alpha male, like I don't like that term. The reason being is because there are a lot of different archetypes of male, and it is not every guy that has a strong personality is not an alpha male. So a lot of people just use the word like, oh, he's an alpha male and, he's a leader and he's this. That doesn't always mean that. But what I will say is, if you have a leading energy male, AKA also known as the alpha male, understand that true alpha males, true leading energy men, they protect women. They don't take advantage of the women in their life. If you have a man that is taking advantage of you in his masculine energy, he is not in his masculine energy. He's in neutral energy, masculine and feminine together. He's not in full masculine mode. So a lot of times, like I said last week, we get tricked by the counterfeits. Don't get tricked by the counterfeit. Or he could be masculine, but he operates in a lot of ego and he has not learned how to balance the blend between his ego and his higher self yet. All right. So just don't get the two confused though with the counterfeits. So let's get started. Let's talk about this devotion program that every man has on the inside of him. Okay. Who is texting? Girl, you late. You got to just come on in. The devotion program. Let's just start there, right? So most men, and I'm going to say this, most men have some trauma from childhood and their mothers. Most men, 90% of men, especially if they were Black. And the reason why is because Black women, we have had a tendency to lead, control, and usurp authority. And we didn't have the fathers in the home in this generation as much. So because of that, we had to be the masculine and the feminine energy in our kids' lives. And when a son gets to be of a certain age, you can no longer mother him. And so once that kicks off, like my sons are, one's 18, at 16 and a half, I could no longer mother him. That was out. Like I had to hope that whatever I instilled into him up until then was going to work. But after then, I couldn't mother him anymore. The only thing he could do was come to me for advice. The only time he got parented was by the father. Because at this point, you're taller than me. You're bigger than me. Am I really going to hit you? Am I going to jump in your face? Am I going to curse you out? No, I'm not, because I don't want to put that program in his head that women are to speak to him like that. Because if it happens with the mom, they're going to grow up programmed thinking that all women can do it, not just mother. So you got to be very careful of how you raise your sons growing up, because here's the thing, they're not boys anymore. They're now men. And once they turn into men, your energy has to shift back again. You can't use masculine energy with them. They're going to defy you. Okay. So most men have that issue of being mothered too long by their mother, and their mother talking to them a certain way, disrespecting them, coming at them a certain way. And now they have this program, this devotion program that is programmed on the inside of every single man that you come into contact with. That devotion program is there. However, it needs to be activated, right? So it got to be unlocked, and it can only be unlocked, y'all. Let me just say this. It can only be unlocked by the woman that's in his life and the amount of softness that she possesses. So devotion in a man is unlocked by softness. Devotion, when I say devotion, I mean the man loving you beyond measure, loving you in the way that you need to be loved. That can only be activated by your softness. Okay. Because here's the thing, men do stuff. They provide, lead, protect, but that's a job for them. That's a chore. You don't want them to be doing it because it's something that they committed to. Most men, again, honor their commitments. So they will still be married to you, still pay for you, still provide, still lead, still protect, even though they're drudging it inside. But the devotion program means that they're doing it out of extreme love and admiration of you. So you want that. You want the devotion program to be activated. You don't want necessarily the commitment. You want a little bit of both. You want the commitment program, but you really want it to be led by devotion for you, not just because he committed to you. Because a man, I'm going to get into it, but a man could commit to things and he's doing it just because he said it, not because he necessarily wants to anymore. All right. The woman truly wants a man to be loving to her, sweet to her. Remember I said women all want love and adoration. She wants somebody that loves on her, is affectionate, strong, capable, responsible, honorable. He's out here, his name's not mud in the street. You know, they say, oh, you married to such and such. Oh, she married to him. Well, he be out here scamming. Like, you want somebody honorable. You want somebody that, you know, has a good name because you have his name. And above all, you want a man that wants to see you happy. And if you're a good woman, you want him to do all of this without necessarily having to sacrifice his happiness at the same time, right? So she also wants it from him without him having to ask. Like, you don't want to always have to ask your man to do it. You want him to want to do it and to take the initiative to do it on his own. All right. That's what we want. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? I know it does. I want to make sure that I get this to you guys methodical tonight. Usually, this does end up being a fairy tale. And the reason why is because we haven't figured out how to activate the devotion button. It's our lack of knowledge. It's our lack of being taught. It's just a lack of a lot of things that we don't know. And it doesn't activate that devotion for him. So not only does him not being devoted hurts her, it also hurts the man to be unable to give it to you. So when you're in a relationship that's not doing well, you're hurting because he's not giving you the devotion. But in a way, he's also hurting because his whole purpose of being with you is to be able to love and give to you. And if he can't, because of extenuating circumstances in your relationship energetically, that bothers him as well. Okay. So let me tell y'all a little story. I always got to tell a story. My husband and I were separated, and I was super convinced that I just didn't want him back. Like, I had told myself that this whole thing was over. I didn't want any parts of it anymore. What the heck was he even doing back here? And I had deduced in my mind that this man was never going to change. So I'm not going to continue to stay in a situation where somebody's just not willing and able or capable, or they are capable and not willing, or they're willing and not capable. I don't know, but I didn't have time to try to stick around and find out. So once he decided, like, listen, I want to be devoted to you. I want to give you everything that you have always asked for and always wanted because you are so very deserving of it, right? He asked me if he could just give me the room to prove to me that he could be everything I wanted him to be. So that didn't mean get back together. What that meant was that we were going to actually, I was going to allow him to be in my space, so to speak. So he was going to be allowed to be around me and be in my space. And I was going to give him a chance to kind of rectify everything that had been messed up. That was, I just felt like that was fair. And I felt like, you know, I hadn't gotten a return on my investment because I had been pouring into the relationship for years just by my behavior and my femininity. And I just felt like I had been pouring. And I didn't get a return on the investment. So I felt like I owed it to myself to at least give him a shot to show me that he was capable of that. So he was around, not in the capacity that we were back together, but I was like allowing him in my space, so to speak. So he was trying so hard, right, to prove to me that he was this changed man. And no matter what he did or what he showed me, it was just not enough. It was just like, okay, that's nice. All right, this is cool. All right, this is all right, you know. So one day he asked me if he could talk to me. And I was like, sure, like we could talk. And he came by and he was like, listen, you know, he explained to me that he had this huge desire to give me everything that I had ever wanted. And that he knew that I was deserving of. But, and he was ready to give it to me. But I wasn't making the environment conducive for him to want to continue because I wasn't receiving what he was offering me. So he was going through all these jumping through all these hoops to try to like prove to me that I wanted to be everything you want me to be. And I was like, yeah, this is all right. This is nice. This is fine. Like, great. I almost got so numb to everything because it was like I hadn't gotten it this long. So why do I need it now? And I just wasn't receptive. And he told me, even though as much as I deserved it, and he still wanted to give it to me, whether I acted like this or not, he just felt like he would be remiss without sharing with me that the way that I was acting was not making him feel devoted enough to want to do it. So although he was doing it because he knew he owed me, in a sense, it wasn't activating that program that was on the inside of him that made him have that energy and have that fervency and have that passion to want to keep going. So in essence, I was like, oh, okay, I'm actually making this a ton more difficult because I'm not being receptive. It was just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't take it. And finally I said, you know what? It was my father, actually. He said, listen, I can tell that he's trying. I can tell that he's doing everything and trying to give you everything that you've ever wanted. And it might not be fast enough for you, but he is trying. And he said, because it's not happening as fast as you like it to, or what he did took so much that everything he adds in seems like only a drop in the bucket, but he is working. And I can see it as another man. I can see his effort. I can see him trying. And once my dad said that, I was just like, okay, like, I got to kind of let up a little bit. Like, this is crazy. I wasn't consciously doing it. It was a very subconscious action, but that's what was going on. All right. So let me just give you a few keys to activate this devotion program, if you will allow me to. Let me take a pause for a second because I got to get up out of here really quick. And go into my other thing. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to give you some keys as to how to get this devotion program activated. Okay, so first and foremost, men don't feel good being led by women. Okay, that's number one. They will never feel good in that position. They don't like it. They'll never like it. They will never receive it. Okay. It little boys them, in a sense. I don't know another word to say it, but it kind of puts them in the position of a little kid. Even if what they are doing makes their woman happy or meets her needs, they don't like being led to do it. So we're always telling them like, oh, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I require. They still don't like being led to do it. Okay. The only men that are comfortable being led are boys that still need a mother. All right. For every other man out there, a woman leading them pushes them away, and it destroys his desire to devote to you. Period. Okay. So if you're leading in any way, shape, or form, it's going to take that desire away. A man gives to you through his leadership. Okay. Not by submitting to his woman's. So he's giving to you based on his leadership and his leadership alone. Without him being the leading energy, he doesn't have a purpose to be there anymore. He doesn't need to be there. A man needs to lead the vision in his life path, his plan, and we kind of come on to that. When you're leading, he no longer has a purpose to be in that space at all. So while I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but usually when there's a woman leading something, men will just go like this. They'll be like watching you like, oh. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be like church, the choir. Anytime the feminine is leading something, the masculine is always set back. They're never going to step to the forefront to lead. They are going to not have a purpose there. And they're not going to fight you for the spot. So they'll just kind of like let you have it. Okay. So that's the thing that makes him feel good. That's what makes him feel like a man. He's validated as a man by his leadership. That's it. If he can't lead, there's no purpose for him to be there. And he kind of just finds somewhere else to be. You know what I mean? Another thing, a man needs to be able to solve problems for his woman, right? That's what makes him feel good. That's what makes him feel like a man. I know we don't like that because sometimes we're like, just hear me out, just hear my feelings. And he's like, yeah. So here's the thing. This is what I was thinking. What I was thinking you should do is A, B, C, and D. And you're like, okay, I just needed a hug. Like, that's what I needed. And this all goes into communication. I'm going to get into that a little later. But right now, I'm just kind of, again, laying some of the foundational aspects of where I'm going, right? So it should come from him hearing the problem and him coming up with a solution, not you leading him into the solution. What we don't understand about us as women is that we are smart, intelligent beings. We are not dumb by any way, shape, or form at all. So what we do is we pose a problem to him, and then we also offer the solution to him. That is never, ever, ever going to work. So we come up with the problem, then we come up with the solution that we feel like it's best for him to fix it. We messing up. We messing up. It's so agitating to him on so many different levels that it's not even funny. And it causes them to lose their natural instinct to do for you because you're always telling them what to do. So let me give an example of what this looks like. This might look like, our son gets out of school early tomorrow. So what I'm thinking is that you should probably just grab him because I got to come from across town and do this. And then you can just do A, B, C, and D. You can't do that. We do it all the time, super unconsciously, because we don't understand. We think that we're being helpful. It's not bad. It just doesn't activate the devotion program that's on the inside of them. What activates the devotion program is saying, hey, our son gets out of school early tomorrow. What should we do? What's the plan? That activates the devotion program because inside something goes off, ding, ding, ding. Like when you play a pinball machine, you put the money in, and all of a sudden all the lights start going off. That's what happens on the inside of him when you pose a problem with no solution. Never, ever, ever pose the problem to the man and then offer the solution to him at the same time. There was no point in you telling him the problem then if you already got the solution. Then you get mad because he's not bouncing back and forth with you with the solution, and he's not going to. He's going to allow you to come up with your little solution and go along with the little solution because now his brain didn't have to go back. Ding, 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 ding. It didn't have to do that. So he's like, okay, that sounds good. That's fine. And he's going to go back to doing whatever he was doing. And you're going to be like, he doesn't even add anything to anything that I ever say. And that's because he's not supposed to be adding to anything that you ever suggest. He's supposed to be suggesting it. And if anything, you add on to it, but not the opposite way around. So we don't understand that causes them to lose their instinctive desire to just do stuff for us, all right? It causes him to not be able to lead because you've already told him what to do. Somebody being told what to do can no longer be considered the leader. So at my job, there's not many people that can tell me what to do. I have one person over me that can tell me what to do. Everybody else there is under me. They don't get to tell me what to do. They can suggest certain things, but they don't get to tell me what to do because the moment that they can, I'm no longer the leader. It's anarchy. Everything goes. So that's never going to be okay. All right. Now here's the thing. Don't expect these changes to happen overnight. So let me just kind of put that out here because I know a lot of people be like, oh, you be giving advice and it's supposed to work, and nothing happens overnight. Okay. he's not going to catch on right away that your behavior is shifting a little bit. He's not going to. Don't expect him to. Men ain't sharp like that. He's going to notice the energetic shift later, because your actions are going to change because you know what your actions are doing, but your energy has to actually shift in order for him to actually feel it, okay? So, you've been doing this all along. You've been suggesting, you've been doing everything, you've been coming up with all the ideas. You've been doing all this for a very, very, very long time, basically kind of cutting him off at the knees and not realizing it. It's like the man becomes almost crippled. You know how when you don't use a body part or a muscle, it atrophies after a certain amount of time? That's what happens to his leadership skills when you have been leading for so very long. That muscle has to be rebuilt. It has to be reactivated on the inside of him. And it's going to take time. The same way a man is not going to go to the gym and get muscles overnight, he's not going to wake up one day and have leadership skills overnight if you have been usurping the authority in your relationship thus far. All right. So you are going to have to help him activate that leading muscle again by not stepping in, not stepping up, not coming up with the solutions, not leading everything, not putting everything together. You are going to have to fall back for a little while. Give him some time for it to rebuild on the inside of him. And once you shift, because, when you shift, you're going to be like, everything's going to feel like it's taking even longer because you're aware now and you feel like he's not. So once you shift, though, you have to allow him the space and the room to grow and make his shift. Don't shift and then be like, oh, well, he not shifting. And you know what? I've been doing this and I've been doing this and I've been trying to fall back to let you lead, but it's apparent that you're never going to catch on. So I'm just going to go back to doing what I was doing. Do not do that. Give him the room and the time that he needs to shift back into that leading energy. So we don't truly understand that when we offer the problem and the solution to a man, that we only leave them with two options. The first option is submit to your leadership, or number two, say no. Just, nah, we ain't doing that. Neither of those options feels good to him. But those are the only two options that you left him with. Submit to yours or say absolutely not and be a brute. And he doesn't want to do either one of them. So what we don't understand is we are constantly putting them in these positions where they're just like cut off at the knees, literally. And there's nothing that they can actually really do about it without seeming like they're going too far or over the top. All right. It is also not natural for a woman in feminine energy to lead in masculine energy or to take on the masculine role. The more you do, the more depolarized your relationship will be, because he will be constantly submitting to your leadership. We can't help it because of our nature, and because we're naturally smart beings. We're not dumb. We're not like ignorant to a lot of things. And because we're really smart, and usually because we paid attention in school and we went to school and got educated, we are really smart and we do have amazing input to add to a situation. What happens is we don't know the fine line between adding input, being smart, and taking over the whole thing. We haven't balanced the difference in that yet. And that's why they're not okay with it. Now, what depolarization of your relationship means, if some people don't know, is that there's a positive and a negative charge to a battery. You know how when you have a remote control, you got to put the one side of the battery in one way and the other side the other way in order for the battery to work. Depolarization means that it's two of the same like energies and they repel each other. So what happens is, if they're starting to repel one another, they're not attracted to each other. So you don't want your relationship to get depolarized, because who the hell wants to be in a relationship with somebody they're not attracted to anymore? And it's not physically attracted to, it's an energetic attraction. You're just repelled. Or you've totally shifted, right? You're not repelled. You're masculine. He's feminine or neutral, but nobody's really happy about it because that's not our organic nature. So yeah, I lead, he follows, he's okay with it because now he done fell back, he don't care. And now you're like, I don't like it here. Like 0 stars. Don't recommend. I don't recommend a woman leading anything. And I'm gonna do a video on that next week, like why women shouldn't lead. And it's not bad, but there are some very, very, very important energetic facts as to why we shouldn't be leading. It's gonna be good. Trust me. So the result of you taking on all the responsibility in a relationship and leading everything is going to cause you to be drained and irritable. How many women are out here just drained and irritable because we're doing too much? We're tired. We're in the rat race. We are coming up with ideas, coming up with business stuff. We are busy. We are on our hamster wheel, going, going, going. We're drained and we're irritable. And then he feels powerless and weak. That is not the cocktail for a sexy household. It's just not. You're drained and irritable. He feels powerless and weak. No fun. Like, I can't even imagine. No, let me not lie. I can't imagine it now. I can imagine it because I've gone through it and we had to get bumped right back to reality. Okay. So I'm sure that you guys can see that this is a cocktail for disaster moving forward in the relationship. Again, I'm going to say this one last time. Men who are married will usually not leave you. But if their energy has to turn feminine, it's still emasculating to them. Most men that make commitments in marriage, they do not leave. They do not just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm divorcing her, because, they don't do that. When they make commitments, they make it. Now, again, I have said this, that they do not leave. They may just cheat. But at the end of this, I'm going to give this is how to affair proof. This whole thing is how to affair proof your home. Because contrary to what we believe, men not out here trying to knock everything down like we think they are. Okay. That's a myth, but I digress. The next step that happens is y'all lose attraction for each other. Not for any other reason except for opposite energies attract. And when you're not opposite, you're not attracting to each other. Neutralized energies don't. They just don't attract. So let's get started. The first one is communication. Boop, boop. We got to strive for feminine communication, y'all. Men don't enjoy it when women communicate with masculine energy. What is masculine energy in communication? I'm so glad you asked. So there's 2 forms, right? 2 forms of masculine communication. The first is blatant, cursing, yelling, aggression, disrespect, straight brute-like communication. Remember our masculine rule: every time there's a bunch of men around, there's that small threat of violence that's lurking in the air. So when a woman starts to operate in masculine energy, so because of that small threat, men know how to conduct themselves amongst other men. They are very careful. Watch the next time you're out and there's a bunch of men around, watch how they interact. They are very careful with their conversation, what they talk about, how far they're willing to let things go, because that thing could get real bad real fast, depending on the men that are there and how masculine each one of them is. Because again, masculine should not be really with masculine. They repel each other. That's why men don't hang out and go to brunch. Women do. So because of that fact, men know how to act around other men. But when a woman is operating in masculine energy, we don't know the rules that they know, because that's not our native tongue. That's not how we operate in general. Women got slick mouths. We talk junk to each other. We will say things that are just like out of pocket, not even realizing that they're out of pocket. Now we have said something so out of pocket to this grown man who knows that masculine communication with another man can cause a fight. What we do when we operate in masculine communication is we open the door And we open the floor up for domestic disputes and domestic violence. Because here's the thing, there is no excuse for domestic violence. But when a man is being spoken to like that by another man, he can duke it out. He can fight that man. He can fight that man, box that man, and they will be friends to yell again another day. When a woman does it, he doesn't know how to react, because if it was a man, he would hit him. So if it's you, he has to just leave. Then we get mad that he's walking away. You're insulting him, yelling at him, saying, calling him any name in the book. And then when he decides to say, yo, I'm out of here, you ain't about to now you want to grab on him and say, you gonna walk away from me? You gonna leave? You just gonna leave like that? Absolutely. Because unless you want to get busted in your mouth, you might want to let him walk out that door. It is not funny, and it is not a game. I make it very clear. I know a lot of women like to go around here and talk junk like, yeah, I step to a man, I'll yell at a man, I'll do this. I do not. I do not. Listen to me clearly. I do not believe in domestic violence, but I also don't believe in treating a man like he should be tested either. I don't test him. Like, when you weigh 100 and some pounds and he weigh almost 200 pounds and he could crush you, why are you yelling in this man's face? That means you are testing his emotional strength. Like, that's crazy to me. I mean, that's just me, but we got to work on our level of communication if we want to activate the devotion program. This whole thing is about activating the devotion program. It's not even about whether you're right in your masculine or feminine energy or not. I'm just sharing you some keys. You want to activate the devotion program or not? Like, you want him to do things out of love and respect and admiration for you, then these are the things you need to work on. That's it. That's all I'm saying. There is no wrong or right here, y'all. Okay. The second form of masculine communication is trying to lead the outcome. So you may not be loud with it. You might not be disrespectful with it, but trying to lead the outcome with solutions that he should be coming up with. When she does that, he's not able to lead in the moment, which will immediately shift the energy. So this looks like pushing and prodding him to do the things you need him to do. Well, what I think is, and well, what you should do, and no, that doesn't make any sense, because what you need to be doing is leading the outcome. There is no need for you to try to lead the outcome. I'm going to tell you why later. But again, this right now, we're on communication. Work on how you're communicating with him to activate this devotion program. All right. So you're going to automatically know if you're communicating in feminine energy, because you will begin to express the problem without coming up with a solution for him to follow. So this is what this looks like. I'm hungry and I don't feel like cooking tonight. Which most of us, just because of conversation and we talk, will be like, hey, I'm hungry tonight. You think you can cook? I'm hungry, but I don't feel like cooking tonight. You think you can cook dinner? No. I'm hungry tonight. I don't feel like cooking. The end. Now he gets to, once again, remember the pinball machine. Ding, 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 ding. There's a lot of ways he can lead this outcome. Okay, babe, no problem. I'll cook. All right, babe, you know what? I'm going to go grab us some takeout. You know what, babe? I was thinking I've been taking you out in a long time. Why don't you go put on a nice dress and let's go on a date? There are mad variables that he can use to choose how he's going to fix that problem or come up with a solution. When you come up with the solution, you chop his leadership skills off at the knees every single time. I'm hungry. You think you could cook dinner? What if he didn't feel like cooking either? And now we can say, oh, it's just basic communication, because then he'll say, well, I don't feel like cooking either. Let's go. All I'm saying is, not wrong or right. It just doesn't activate the devotion program. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to say that all night. It's not wrong or right. It just doesn't activate the devotion program. The devotion program is him feeling like a man in your presence. not necessarily feeling like a friend. Now, don't get me wrong, because me and my husband are mad friends. Like, we're like best friends. Like, we laugh, joke, say mad sayings from movies, but I know when to activate this devotion program. I know when to talk and I know when to shut up. I know when to offer a solution because it's usually when he asks me, and I know when to just state a problem and leave it there and let him figure out the rest. Then he's validated and he feels like a man once he's able to come up with that solution. We are always doing the absolute most. We don't have to. Then we're wondering why we're stressed. We're trying to come up with we see the problem and try to come up with the solution when we got somebody there that can help us with the solution. Let them do it. Rest. That's all I'm telling you to do is just rest a little bit. That's all. That's all you got to do. All right. Because men enjoy, honestly, giving out their love and solutions, especially when they're not told what to do. When they're not told what to do, you'd be surprised at how much they can come up with on their own. Telling them what to do kills the magic, y'all. It kills the magic for them. And it kills the energy that they have to move forward. And even if you suggested like, oh, well, can we get takeout? He'll say, oh, okay, I'll go get you takeout. But again, he's not doing it from devotion. He's doing it just because you're his wife or his girlfriend and you asked. It's not because he's like, I really want to fix this problem for her. I really want to do it. I really just want to make her feel good. I just really want to make her smile. That's not why he's doing it. He's doing it because you asked. He's doing it because you said it. And there could have been another option that you would have liked better, but you didn't even give him a chance to come up with it. Now, this can be hard for most women. I'm going to say why. And it's usually because as women, we have grown up communicating about everything. That's what we do. Even as little girls, you talk on the phone, you be on your little group, your little three-way call, your little best friends. Like, that's what we do. But we have also spent the majority of our lives learning how to communicate with masculine energy as opposed to feminine energy. And although this language can be great in like a corporate environment, like at work, I do have to have some masculine language, masculine communication. I understand that and I know that. So it's great in a corporate environment or at work, but it destroys your man's devotion to the relationship. So shut that ish off at work. Do not bring it home. The best advice I can give you to not bring these things home is to just learn how to rest. That's it. Just learn how to rest. I cannot believe that this is taking this long and I have so much to give y'all. So like, I'm going to go through it. The next one is manipulation. The feminine communication is about not trying to lead an outcome. It's about giving the problem without offering up a solution. Manipulation, even if it's stating the problem without offering a solution, but energetically it's still trying to lead and control, he's going to feel that too. And he's not going to want to move for you. So it's one thing like, oh my God, I saw this Coach pocketbook online and I just really wanted it. And I just don't have the money to get it. Leading the outcome, because the basis of it is you want him to buy it. You see the difference? Like, I'm not sure if the examples are exactly lining up, but the difference is the leading of the outcome. So even when you do it and you don't give the solution, but you're still trying to lead the outcome, that falls under manipulation, and they can feel that as well. All right. So you always want to express the wants with the idea of an outcome and him coming up with the outcome. So you also have to understand the difference. Like, nothing's a cookie cutter, right? You got to understand the difference. Know when to ask him directly, or just when to express a need, or when to actually ask for permission for certain things. Like, for instance, I could be in the car, right? And let's just say my husband's giving me a ride to work or somewhere. And instead of me saying, I want a coffee, that's weird, because now I'm stating what I want without the solution. And if I say, can you get me a coffee? That's cool too, because he'll stop because I'm his wife. But what activates the devotion program is me saying, do you mind stopping and getting me a coffee? Is that okay? Now he's like, oh, yes, we can go get you a coffee. That's nothing. I got it. You see the difference? You asking for it. Can you stop and get me a coffee? He's going to do it because he loves you. but it doesn't activate anything on the inside of him. It's a chore. He's just doing it because you asked. If you just state it like, I want a coffee. Chirp, chirp. Now you're waiting for him to say, oh, okay, we can stop. But then what if he doesn't? Now you in the car with an attitude. So now it's time to ask for the permission. Do you mind if we can just get that? Is that okay with you? Now he's like, oh, yeah, that's, yeah. I don't know how I know this stuff, but trust me, it works. Just trust me. Like, know the difference, know when to pull which one out your bag and which one to use at each moment. That is the work. That's the work of trying to figure it out. Okay. The next one is vulnerability. Okay. That's when a woman expresses her heart fully to her man. Nothing's hidden, nothing's left out. You're fully real and you're connected to your emotions and your emotional state at the time. And you tell your man what you're feeling. That's it. It's the equivalent of you like undressing in front of them. Like, you got to get naked. You got to take off all your clothes and you got to say, this is what it is. Like, this is where I'm at. It's scary for women to do that, but it's even scarier to do it with your heart. Like, it's just a scary thing to disrobe in front of someone. That takes courage, but men know that. But this is what they need to devote. You cannot skip this part. You can't skip the vulnerability. Vulnerability showcases strength and the femininity. See, we use strength in their way. We want to seem hard. We want to seem independent. We want to seem like our emotions don't run us or rule us, and they shouldn't. But it doesn't mean you can't feel. And for whatever reason, us expressing our feelings is harder than us hiding our feelings. So, but when a man sees you vulnerable and you showcasing your feelings to them, they know, they look at that as courageous. Like, wow, you just disrobed in front of me and you got naked in front of me, and I got to protect that nakedness. I can't just lash out at that. So we got to stop being afraid of looking weak by being vulnerable with your feelings. We hide behind these tough, contained, independent layers, and it's not serving us anymore. Like, from what I can see, with the women that I talk to, it's not serving us. And then the man never sees the true softness that he's there to protect. That's what they need to see. They need to see how soft and vulnerable you are in order to protect you, even protect you from him. A man does not want to hurt something that he is built to protect. How can you be the protector, but you're beating the thing up that you're supposed to protect? But if the thing you're supposed to be protecting keeps rising up at you as though it wants to fight you, then you're not protecting that thing anymore. You guys are adversaries in a sense. So again, as women, we've become courageous in exerting our masculine energy in the world, but we're a coward when it comes to exhibiting our feelings and our emotions to men and our softness to the man in our life. And we have to do better with that. Again, femininity can only be cultivated through vulnerability. You got to be vulnerable. Show your heart. Show your softness. Don't be afraid of your heart being hurt. It always will be hurt. Something's always going to hurt it. Your dog dies. Your kid rises up at you. Somebody passes away in your family. You cannot protect your heart to the extent that it's causing you to not get what you want in your relationship. I had to learn that the hard way. It was not until I was fully vulnerable and disrobed with my husband that he became the best husband I ever wanted him to be. All it took was that, and it was the scariest moment of my entire life. Well, the emotionally scariest part of my entire life, because one of the scariest parts was, hang gliding, whatever. That was one, but it was so scary. But when I tell you it served me so much in the long run that I will never take that back. And now I love being vulnerable. Now I'm just a baby. Like now I want to be babied all the time. Now I'm always not in my feelings, but I'm always, because he don't really do anything wrong. So I'm not in my feelings with him, but I be in my feelings. The other day, matter of fact, I was getting, me and my sister like these like black owned businesses, and we buy like our buddy butters and our oils and things from them because they're like handmade and they smell so good. So I had this mango and papaya body oil, and I was about to put it on because I know he loves that smell. And I went to get it out of the thing, and it had all spilled in like this the back of like this bag in the closet. And I was like, and he heard me say, "Oh no." And he came running. He's like, "Babe, what's wrong?" I'm like, I was so sad. Like literally a tear could have came out because I just bought that stuff. They had a sale because it's usually expensive because it's handmade. They had a sale. I called my sister. We ordered mad stuff, got it delivered, and now all of it fell out. So I was like, oh no, my oil that I love so much, that I use all the time, it just spilled. All of it is spilled everywhere. I don't even know what to do. And he was just like, is there anything you need me to do? Is there anything you want me to do for you? Is that you need me to go to the store? You want me to get you something else? Like, you want me to go get you something that smells like it? And I'm like, why is he offering all these options when I could just order it again online tomorrow? Like, but I was like, wait a second. Again, all I did was express the need. I didn't express the solution. I wasn't looking for a solution. I just expressed the need. And then he was able to say, oh, do you want this? You want me to do this? You want me to do this? I could do this. I could do this. No, none of that is necessary. I'm just going to go back on Instagram and buy it again. But I just was sad. And I'm still sad, actually. Like, I went and bought some more yesterday. Like, hopefully it gets here soon. But that being vulnerable requires courage. But once you do it, once you get past that hump, it's very hard to put the bricks back up once you've demolished all the bricks from around your heart to protect yourself. It's very hard to put the bricks back up. So, our armor is like a fake armor that we put on. The independence, the coldness, the hardness. It's like a fake armor that everybody can see through. So a man is courageous when he puts his armor on for you. And he goes out into the world and he protects you when he gets the money, and he goes out into the cold, hard world. And a woman's armor, best time is when we take our armor off with our heart at home. So his armor is out in the world and our armor is actually off because he's the one with it on. So that's why we got to really just understand polarity, and that it's the exact equal and opposite. All right. The feminine pole is to always express, it's always to feel. Okay. So you always got to remember that. Let me just give you a disclaimer. Vulnerability without emotional stability is neediness, and it's crazy and it's erratic, and he won't be able to deal with that either. So you got to take emotional responsibility for the things that you're going through. So express your feelings, but this is where we mess up, y'all. We express the feeling and we add blame. We express the feeling and we tell him how he needs to change because we're feeling like this. If he doesn't do this, we wouldn't feel like this. So you need to change that so that I don't feel like this. That's how we communicate to them. And you can see how that wouldn't activate devotion, right? It will activate defensiveness. It'll activate him trying to protect himself. It'll activate a lot of things, but it will not activate devotion. What activates devotion is you just saying, hey, I'm not feeling good. And then he says, why? Because men are always going to ask why, because they want to know. And you say, I don't know. I'm just feeling like we don't spend a lot of time together. Or I'm just feeling disconnected. And he can say, well, why are you feeling disconnected? I don't know. I just feel like we haven't been spending any time together. I would like to see you more. As opposed to you haven't been spending any time with me. You've been super busy. You've been working too much. You blame. That doesn't activate devotion. What activates devotion is you just being vulnerable, how you're feeling. This is where a lot of the issues in relationships come up because people have communication issues. Instead of you coming off with the real feeling that you're feeling, you end up pushing what you're feeling and why you're feeling it onto him. And then you wonder why he's not taking it and coddling it and rocking it. Because he's like, well, you're blaming me for why you feel like that. When if you just say, I'm feeling like this, you're taking emotional responsibility for what you're feeling. I could just be feeling like this today because I'm PMSing. It might not even have nothing to do with you. Next week, we might not even be able to have the same conversation. I could be feeling like this because I'm overwhelmed this week and I just need your energy this week. It doesn't have to be his fault for why we're feeling a certain way. Now, if it is something that is his fault for why we're feeling a certain way, you still don't lead with the fault. You just lead with how you're feeling. That's it. Don't blame. Another thing let's talk about is judgment. We as women, we are judgy. And I say that because we are the moral compass of this world, ladies. Like, remember I said that we are the moral compass of the world. It is live. If it was all men, it'd be barbarian town. People be dying, fire, brimstone, pitchforks, all of that. Women are the moral compass. We're the ones that say, no, don't do that. That's not right. That's right. That's wrong. That's right. That's wrong. So because we're the moral compass of the world, we have the tendency to be very judgy about the men in our lives' behaviors. We'll be like, don't do that. We also have a very good compass for them as to whether what they're doing is going to lead them to what it is that they say that they're wanting in this world. So when we see them acting opposite of it, we're always like, because we can see it in our children. However, we have to refrain from wanting to tell them what to do, from judgment in their behavior. Now, when I say behavior, I don't mean behavior that's hurting you, I'm just talking about their behavior in general. Oh, he talked too loud. He laughed too loud. He get out and he gets too rowdy. He does this, he does that. We got to kind of leave that alone and let them cultivate their own moral compass without our help. All right. It's just, we're always going to meet so much resistance when we try to do that. So even, here's the thing, if it's something that they're doing to us that's hurting us, express the idea that it hurts us. Just tell them. Don't offer the solution. Don't offer the rectification of it, like how they can rectify it. They need to be motivated by their love for you, not your control of them. You always want them to be motivated by love, not control. If they are motivated by control, their behavior will always quickly shift back to what it was before. When it's motivated by love, they're changing from in here. And then they're offering that back to you. So never lead as a woman from a place of control. As a matter of fact, again, women don't lead, we inspire. It is a totally different thing. Another thing, don't make them modify their behavior for you just because you told them to or forced them to. Never give a man an ultimatum. If you do this, I'm going to do. If you do this or that, he's always going to choose or that. And if he does choose you, you guys have started on a totally wrong foot. Okay. He will resent you damn near for the rest of his life. So do not give a man an ultimatum. If you don't marry me, I'm gonna A, B, C, and D. And then he either says, okay, well, A, B, C, and D then, or he marries you and he wasn't ready and now he's cheating all over the place and now you're mad. But you told him, anytime you give a man a this or that, it's never gonna work. Okay? Just a rule of thumb. So just remember that a woman's vulnerability is your best chance at getting him to give you the responses that you want and need. It's all about vulnerability, ladies. That's what it's about. I know it's scary. I know we don't want to do it, but it's all about vulnerability. Vulnerability doesn't teach. Vulnerability doesn't criticize. Vulnerability doesn't judge. It doesn't say who's right or wrong in this situation. It only expresses softness in your heart. That's it. All right. So next, men give, women receive. Okay. Men give and women receive. So we've been trying to fight and shift this dynamic for such a long time, y'all. But energy doesn't lie. It's the truth. Our physical bodies and how we procreate does not lie. Men give and women receive. And by the act of enjoying the receiving, she's actually in turn giving back to the man. That's how the cycle goes. The man gives, the woman receives. By her graciously receiving, she's actually giving back to him. A lot of times women feel like giving to the man looks the same way them giving to us looks like, and it doesn't. It goes like this, it goes like that, it goes like this, it goes like that. Men give, you receive graciously. When you receive graciously, that is giving them everything that they need. There's nothing more that they actually need from you, you know. So in order to activate this devotion, he got to be in the giving role instead of the receiving role. Men are not comfortable receiving all the time, okay? They're not comfortable with you leading the outcome, and making things happen is in the masculine pole, not the feminine one. It's really that simple, right? The receiving pole is the feminine passive pole, the being role. Feminine just is. It just is about being. It's not about doing. It's receptive. It submits to the outcome. It accepts what happens. That's the feminine pole. When you are in the giving role, he can't be. It's just unfortunate. Our giving role is actually reserved for our children. That's why we have it. That giving role of going the extra mile and doing that, that's for our children. Does this mean never do anything for him? No, absolutely not. However, most men who have leadership skills, they know how to delegate. They do, which means he knows when to ask for what he needs. He knows who to ask for what. Men are not dumb. When we're constantly reminding them to do stuff and, oh, remember, listen, my husband is crazy. We have these weird dynamics, y'all. So he'll tell me, remind me that I got to pick something up from Home Depot tomorrow. And I'll say, okay. Now, he's only asking me to remind him because so that he can remember it himself, because he doesn't want me to remind him. So when he tells me to remind him, it's so that it solidifies in his brain to remember, because he definitely doesn't want me to remind him. The weirdest thing ever, but it works. Anytime he tells me to remind him something, he remembers it on his own because he don't want to hear me say it. It's the craziest thing ever. But that's all crazy that they don't want you telling them what to do, reminding them. So this segues beautifully into my next point, y'all. We're talking about activating a devotion program. Mothering. One of the biggest ways to step into the masculine is by mothering. I know a lot of people think that mothering falls under feminine energy, and it does, because it is a feminine archetype. But mothering a child is feminine because it's about energy. It's not about the action. Mothering a child is feminine. Mothering a man is masculine. The actions itself doesn't make something feminine or masculine. It is the energy behind it that makes it feminine or masculine. Okay? Remember, it's all about energy. It's not about actions. Because you could be like, well, I did this and he didn't act like that. But then when I did this, it's not the action. It's the energy. We feel as though when we mother that we're being nurturing, right? And we are if we're doing it to a child, but to a man, it's emasculating. All right. So don't get me wrong. We are out here dealing with immature men. I'm not even going to speak on what I was just about to say, but there is a lot of immaturity in the men that are out here nowadays. Just, you can hear it in their conversation, what they talk about, what they yell, what they speak, what they post about, what the men groups that are out here. There are a lot of immature men out here. We are dealing with a lot of little boys and men's bodies. So don't get me wrong. every guy out here ain't masculine, operating in a masculine energy. And these rules are not for every man. So that's why I want you to be very careful, because these rules are for a masculine man or a man you want to cultivate masculinity in, that you're already in a long-term committed relationship with. Do not try to change a new man or fit a round peg in a square hole. Okay? I mean, a square peg in a round hole, because it doesn't work. All right? Now, a lot of times we're out here dealing with these immature men. It's because they were mothered too long. That's usually the biggest issue. He was mothered too long, coddled too long as a young adult, and he wasn't released as a child. And he still seeks for those things today because his mother did too much and didn't know when to stop. But his manhood needs to be cultivated by you, allowing him to figure things out. So if his manhood wasn't cultivated by his mother, then you need to cultivate his manhood by not stepping in. Stop mothering him. Stop helping him. Y'all, listen, y'all know I'm a boy mom. I'm a boy mom. My 18-year-old, you got to ask me when you need my help. I'm not helping you do anything. You are a man now. You got to figure out this world. You got to figure out how to navigate this world. So today he calls me. He's like, Ma, I got to get my license. So I'm at the school. What should I be asking for? I'm like, your transcripts. Okay, good. I got it. I knew the word. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I'll answer when you call, but I'm not just making the call for you. Like, oh, so are you going to go get your transcripts? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Are you going to do this? I was telling my sister today, my son, my 23-year-old just got hired at Yale. And I said, there's some things he got to go get, some paperwork, some stuff. And my uncle had texted me and was like, make sure your son gets this text. No. I mean, I will when I see him, but no. He got to be responsible enough to text you back or give you the information you need. If he loses this opportunity, lesson learned, he won't do that again. But I'm not going to step in just so that he don't lose his opportunity. That's not my job. You are grown. You are 23. Get it together. So today he calls me, Ma, Uncle Steve, I text you. Yeah, I got back to him and such and such and such. And I was wondering if you could tell me like where I can make my doctor's appointment at, because I'm not a kid anymore. I don't have a pediatrician. So you got anywhere you want to recommend? I will step in for that, but I'm not stepping in coddling. I'm not helping. I'm not ironing your clothes. I'm not buying your underwear. I'm not buying your body wash. I'm not making your haircut appointments. I'm not doing none of that. You know how to use your phone for everything else. You know how to use your phone to talk to these dusty little girls. So use your phone to make your appointments. Call the people. My son lost his wallet. He's like, oh my goodness, my guard card was in there. I'm like, there's always ways to get replacements of things. All you got to do is call. Find out who you need to call and call the number. I'm not doing it. Not I. But we have a generation of men whose mothers coddled them for forever, doing everything for them. And now they get with a woman and they want her to do everything for them. No. The one thing that I am so grateful for is my husband. I mean, it's not the best thing because there was checks and balances. There was some good and bad to this. But my husband moved out of his house, his mother's house at 15. So he's been self-sufficient ever since. So he doesn't require or expect me to take care of him because he has been taking care of himself since he was a teenager. He wasn't home. He didn't have no mommy. There was no mommy energy around him. Now, because there was no mommy energy around him, he was rough and tough with his Afro puffs. And that was a problem too. Because again, like I said in my other video, you need the balance of both. Okay. So when you mother a man, you are treating him like a little boy. And you are essentially communicating that he's incapable of running his own life. And that's unfortunate because hopefully he is capable. But even if he isn't, he got to learn to be. All right. Or he shouldn't be married. He shouldn't be in a relationship with a woman. He needs to be getting his life together and then seeking out a woman. But if you're already in this situation, my best advice to you is to fall back and allow him to start doing the stuff. All right. Because mind you, you got to think about this. If a man never married you, he would have had to be out here figuring this thing out on his own. If he didn't have a wife, he would have to figure it out. So you gotta allow him to figure it out. He's capable. He's grown. He know how to go to work every day, make the monies. He's capable. Or he needs to enlist the help. Babe, can you help me do this? Babe, you think you could show me how to do this? Now you can't be impatient like, he should know this. I mean, did your mother teach you anything? No. If he's asking for the help him. Show him. You're not leading in the case when he's asked. You're leading in the case when you're offering, did you do this? Did you remember to do this? Did you remember to do that? Did you remember to stop mommying him? He's not a little kid, and he's going to be agitated. And he might not come off like that, but it's not going to activate the devotion program. That's all we're talking about here. All right. So again, wean the sons need to be weaned away from your coddling at a very young age. All right. And they got to be allowed to mess up. Again, I let my sons mess up because men have to learn by messing up. That's how they learn. All right. Don't jump in. So let me show you how this looks. I'm trying to figure out if there were some of these things that I do too. Reminding him all the time about stuff. I now only remind my husband when he asks for it. And I told y'all, he only asks for it so that I don't have to remind him. Don't forget about your appointment today. You got to go to the doctor, or, better yet, we always so mouthy. You will look better if you change that shirt. That other shirt looks better on you. Can you please clean up the kitchen? Because you left some stuff out there. That's exactly what a mother does to the kids. Stop doing that to your man. He's not a little kid. He's not. It has gotten to the point, it was so bad that I just my husband had this thing where he would take his shoes off and leave him. And I would go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and trip over his big old shoes. And after a while, I just I stopped complaining about the shoes and I would just move them. And then he started to notice that they were just moved without any words, without anything. I would just move them. I would never complain. I would never say anything. And then all of a sudden, it was like God, because he would be like, oh, you could tell a light bulb went off, let me move these, because she trips over them in the middle of the night. She trips over this in the middle of the night. So you just got to fall back a little bit. That's it. Fall back, they step up. Y'all, when you mother, this is a surefire way for him to lose sexual attraction to you. Ooh, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good for you. No man wants to be mothered at his big grown age. And no man wants to get busy with his mother. The more you mother, the more energetically he loses attraction for you. Boys are not attracted to their mother, unless they're R. Kelly, but boys don't look at their mother like that. You want your husband to look at you in a way where he desires you so much. He wants to ravage you all the time. He wants to touch you all the time. You mommying him is not going to activate your devotion program. That's what we want to activate. So again, it's not wrong or right, but do you want to activate the devotion program? Yes or no? And if you do, you got to stop babying him. Stop mothering him. Stop telling him what to do. Stop offering up suggestions all the time. Stop telling him what you think he should be doing. Stop doing all of that. All right? Because ultimately what it says to him is you don't trust him. That's it. I don't trust you to take care of me. I don't trust you to take care of these kids. And I don't trust you to take care of yourself. So let me help you, because you out here, you don't know what you're doing. You out here messing everything up. So let me just tell you what to do real quick so that you don't get out here and mess everything up, because you're not capable. You might as well be saying that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it's coming off to him. It's insulting. And every time you do this, he feels like less of a man in your relationship. Every single time. You are picking his manhood away piece by piece by piece, like you picking lint off a sweater. And then you wonder why he's less of a man around you. Again, these men probably are not going to leave you. So don't get me talking and then, y'all are thinking, oh, if I don't stop, is he going to leave me? He's not. He's not. I am only giving you the keys to get what you want, more of what you want. Because he probably goes in and out of the devotion program, in and out, in and out, in and out, because of these things. But you want him to have that activated 90% of the time and maybe only 10% doing it because it's a chore, because we just all got to do chores because we're adults now. We got to adult. You know what I mean? You want to get the best results from your man and your relationship. You know what mothering also does? And this is crazy. It enables a man to remain irresponsible. So let's just say you actually do have a irresponsible man. The key with masculinity is it leads, and the leader takes accountability and responsibility. But if you're actually backseat driving or leading from the sidelines, you like, no, hey Tiff, you like, no, don't go that way, take a right. No, don't go that way, take a left. No, because the thing is up the street. Every time you do that, right, you're leading from the sidelines, you're taking some of the responsibility off of him. You mothering a man activates irresponsibility in him. So if you're trying to get the devotion program activated, you got to leave mothering by the wayside. You got to leave mothering out of here, okay? And as long as you're the one making things easy for him and shouldering all of the burden of the household and the responsibility, and you're doing all this stuff and you're shouldering all the stress, you're the one that's going to be irritable. Again, he's going to feel weak and powerless. You're going to be irritable and stressed out because you're not built for it. And then the one that actually is built for it is light as a feather and stress-free. Wow, how we have switched things up. Stop mothering him. Again, all the reminders. Did you remember to do this? Did you remember to do that? Don't forget that and that and that. This man is not 18. I don't even do that to my 18-year-old. I'm not about to be reminding them about stuff. If you got an appointment, you need to be remembering it. Put it in your phone. There are so many things for you to be responsible in this world now. There's really no excuse for you to be a man out here not knowing how to lead, unless your mother coddled you for way too long. That's it. And then he becomes dependent on you to make sure his life is in order. Babe, what shirt I should wear? I got this interview, so you think I should wear this? Okay, so when you think I should get the car done? You drive the car every day. But when you mother as a wife, you enable him to remain irresponsible. If you want to change your man or change the polarity back in your relationship for him being a responsible one and you being the feminine energy, stop doing stuff. Stop reminding him. Let things fall apart. Because for whatever reason, men only learn when things fall apart. They're not going to get it from a book. They're not going to get it from their friends. Because men don't hold other men accountable like that. They're not going to get it from their friends. They got to learn because life hit them hard, banged them in the back of the head, and they're like, ooh, I won't do that again. That's how they learn. Little boys are hard-headed. Where y'all think they got that from? They don't learn till they bang their head. That's how they learn. Listen, y'all, I'm telling you, you want that man to grow up and evolve, stop mothering him or he's going to remain a child. All right? And the sad part about it is how many women have we heard complaining that they feel like they got an adult child in the house? I hear it all the time. So many women have come to me saying that they feel like they have an adult child in the house. They'll be like, I got 3 boys, but if you count my husband 4, that's not funny. That's not funny because that means that he's not leading the household you are, and now you're mad stressed. That's not okay. You got to switch it. It's you that keeps enabling him. Even if his mother didn't do her job, That don't mean you pick it up. That means you drop it where she left it and say, oh, you gotta figure this out now. I don't know what to tell you. That's why there's Google. That's why there's stuff. Like, you don't need me for everything. Now, again, if you ask me for help, I'm coming. Help meet me, please. Where's my cape? But if you're not asking, and I'm just, don't forget, don't do this, don't forget. Make sure you get our kid. Make sure you pick her. So, no. I remember a very long time ago, I taught this message. I read a book and I taught this message based on inspiration from the book. It was called The Surrendered Wife. And my mother actually had me lead it because she was like, I can't teach this because I can't do it. I don't know how you do it. I resonate with this so much. So my first husband was very irresponsible, right? He would like let the lights get cut off. He would like not put gas in the car and we would get stuck out somewhere because the car ran out of gas. Then he would have to leave me in the car at night in the dark with our newborn baby and go walk to get gas. And I'm looking at him going, what is wrong with him? Like, this, something got to be wrong with this dude. Like, what's wrong with him? And I realized that he was just irresponsible. And my mother was like, how do you do it? Because I wouldn't say anything. The lights would get cut off and I would let him come home to no lights. And he'd be like, where the lights at? I'd be like, I don't know. The money wasn't in there to pay the bill. And then I would just let him stress out about it. Let the stuff happen. Even though you as a woman feel like, yeah, but I'm going to be stressed if there's no lights. You'll be all right. You'll get over it. But guess what? That won't happen again because the mortification of it, the embarrassment of it, the sheer failure that it shows him that he won't do it again. But if you keep, no, I got it. No, I'm hit it. No, I got it. No, I got it. He'll never step up and do it. Never. Another thing, organizing. I know everybody think that, see, women, we like a lovely, well-organized house, right? As far as like where things are and everything having its proper place. But I'm talking about the organization of the household as a real organization, meaning who picks up the kids, who does this, who's going to cook dinner, when are we going to the grocery store, when are we doing this, what party are we going to, what are we doing here, when are we doing this, who's cooking Thanksgiving dinner, the organization as a whole. The woman usually steps up and organizes everything. She organizes the bills, the household chores, the kids, who does what, when, why, how. But guess what? If you're organizing everything, that means, once again, he's submitting under your leadership in the household and he's not going to do anything. He's going to let you usurp. He's going to let you do all the stuff. He's going to let you make all the shots. He's going to let you organize everything. He's going to let you put everything together and he's not going to lift a finger because you got it. There's nothing left for him to do. So you have to let him lead it and then you add into it. So every single day, it's the weirdest thing. At 4:15, my husband calls me and says, who's getting real today? And then I'm like, oh, well, it was going to be me. He's like, you straight? You sure? You don't want it to be me? Because our son gets off of school at 5:15. So like he knows that by 5:15, I'm tired. At 4:15, when he calls, he's just leaving the gym. So he's like, who's getting real? Like every single day, which says to me that in his mind, he's still organizing it. Even though I'm usually the one that gets him, he's still the lead of the organization of it. I don't call him and be like, hey, who's going to get him? Like he does that. Is he good? Is he all right? Do I need to go outside? Okay. All right. Are you tired? You want to lay down? Okay. Is his brother getting them? All right. So he makes sure that he kind of quarterbacks everything. And I am just there for help. That's what we're supposed to be there for. We're supposed to be there for help. We're not supposed to be there to do everything. That's not our job. We took help me and turned it into do everything. It was never the call. That was never the role. Okay. Once again, that says that you don't trust. Another one that activates the devotion program, don't try to fix stuff. When I say that, what I mean is, you know how like there's times where your relationship is just not really working out. Like we hit tough spots. We hit rough spots. That's the reality of life. And you always have that spot where you're kind of like, I don't know if this is working out. I just don't understand. We've all hit it in at least one or two relationships that we've been in. But don't try to fix the relationship. Don't try to fix it. Sounds weird, right? But that actually pushes him farther away. So don't try to fix it. Because once again, he'll have to submit to your leadership. I remember when me and my husband was going through that really tough spot. And I was like, no, because what we need to do is we need to do this and this and this and this and this. And then, you know, maybe if we separate for a while, he was like, and finally he told me, he was like, we're trying to fix our relationship and you're leading everything. Like, how are you in the masculine energy trying to lead everything and fix it when I'm the one that's supposed to be fixing it? We're off polarity already, starting back up if you're the one leading how it's going to be fixed. I was like, oh, shoot. Dang. That was right around the time where we knocked back into place. And I was like, oh, okay. Wow. I'm not talking like this, like I've arrived, like I'm so perfect. I did this stuff. I know. That's how I know. Because I did it. Some stuff I was better at than others just because of the way that I was raised and the husbands that I had. But I've delved definitely into masculine energy in my relationship many times before, right? So anytime you're leading the energy, the man loses his devotion. Meaning, again, devotion means he's doing things out of love and not out of commitment or a chore. Men will always do things out of commitment. Yes, you want him to honor his commitments, but you also want him to be doing it out of his love and admiration for you. You don't want him to be doing stuff just because you asked, you told him to, or he thinks you're going to be upset. You want him to do it from love and devotion. So when we try to fix things after an argument, you know how you argue and then like everybody's quiet, like now it's been a day or two, like it's the man that's actually supposed to come and be like, hey, can we talk? It's the guy's role. He's the leading energy. He's supposed to be the one, because here's the reality of it. He don't like to hear when you say, can we talk? Men can't stand to hear that from a woman. Can we talk? They don't like it. So they need to be the ones coming to you, because if you try to go to them and fix it, it can actually be catastrophic if they're not ready to talk. So just give them the room to fix it. And even if you do go to them and get them to fix it, it's going to be a quick fix, but only for a little while. It's never going to really work. You want them to change from here. You want them to change from their heart. You don't want them to change from their head or their hands. You want them to change from here. So that way now every action is motivated from this, from love and devotion, not from just like, oh, I said I was going to do it, so I did it. I did it. All right. A woman or the feminine pole cannot fix a relationship. It can only be fixed if he becomes the man he was meant to be. That's it. You can't ever fix a relationship as a woman. I need you to know that. You can't fix it. It doesn't matter what the problem is, how bad it is. You can't fix it. Now, unless it's like he's leaving you because like you're cheating like crazy and you just can't stop and the problem is with you, then yeah, you can fix your issues, your problems, but you can't fix the relationship. Fixing the relationship is the man's job. That's why, paradoxically, the only thing a woman can do to fix a relationship is to step back and stop trying to fix it. The only thing you can do to fix it is not try to fix it. Chill, step back, and give him the opportunity to step forward and start fixing things. And then if he doesn't, then you know what it was in the first place. And you might got to let it go. That's why, you know what? When men be like, I ain't chasing no woman. Yeah, I ain't chasing no woman because that's crazy to me, because those men are a disgrace to me, to be 100% honest. And the reason why is because of the immature mindset that states men are supposed to chase women. That's the rules, okay? Same way dogs chase cats. Men are supposed to chase women. Now, ain't nobody telling you to be thirsty. Ain't nobody telling you to be a simp. But men are supposed to chase women. Men are the ones that go after women. Even if you're mad, even if the relationship needs to be fixed, you need to be the one going after her, not her going after you. That's weird. And it's off balance. And it's mad. I said I was going to be nice. Ooh, because I was supposed to go off. But I was going to say that's mad super feminine energy. I was going to say another word, but I digress. Mad super feminine energy. I'm not chasing a one. Then be the girl in a relationship then. How about that? And go get with you a nice man. I don't know what to tell you, but you can't be talking like that saying you're a man. You can't be talking like that saying you're a masculine man either. That's mad girly. Women don't chase, men do. Even in the Bible, in the beginning, when it says, man's supposed to leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, that word cleave means continually chase. That's what it means. Look it up in the Hebrew. Continually chase. So those men saying that don't even know what they're talking about. And they don't know. They ask from a hole in the wall at this point. Okay. Now, I know this could be hard for us to not want to fix stuff because just growing up, we are the more social, emotional, we have more social relational skills than men do. We're able to talk and communicate and get to the bottom of things, but it's still not our job. All right. You gotta allow him to develop those skills for himself. Bottom line is this: the more you do for a man, the less he will develop for himself. That's it. The more you do, the more you try, the more you doing all the talking, he's not doing as much talking. The more you're initiating everything, he's not doing any initiating. The more you're giving, he's not giving, he's receiving. There's always an equal opposite part. So as long as you're doing it, it can't be done for you. All right. So now, does this mean you shouldn't say anything when there's problem in the relationships? No, but don't try to lead the outcome and don't try to be the fixer. That's all I'm saying. There's a problem. Yes, you have to address it. Yes, you do. State the issue. Very plain, very compactly. I feel sad. I feel disconnected. Why? Because we don't talk much like we used to. That's it. Now leave it up to him to fix it. I feel sad. Why? I just feel like you don't value me. Why? Well, because, I was out and this woman said that you messaged her about this. I don't really feel valued. I don't know. No blame, no nothing. State the issue, state your feelings, give him room and time to fix it. Don't offer the solution at the same time. All right. That's what we do. We're always giving the solution. We're always telling him what to do, why to do it. We then assume why he's doing it, then tell him why he did it. Yeah, because you did this and then you probably did this and you probably didn't even want to talk to me because you probably was over there with somebody else. Whoa. Now you can see how this isn't activating any devotion. It's only activating defensiveness and you getting on his nerves. You want to put yourself in a position where you activate devotion at all times. All right. This is not about right or wrong right now. This is about getting results. That's what this is about. It's not about whether he was right, whether he was wrong, whether he's right, whether he's wrong. It's all about being smart enough to make the movements to get the results you want. That's it. Nobody's wrong. And let me tell you a little secret in relationships. If either party, after an argument or after a dispute, walks away feeling like they won, both parties lost. If you walked away feeling like, yeah, because he needed to apologize to me because such and such and such and such, or if he walked away feeling like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? She knew she was wrong. If anybody walked away from the argument feeling bulky and swole up in their mind, talking about something, yeah, she knew, he knew, y'all both lost. Because the resentment that's going to build up from being in a win-lose situation with your mate is going to destroy your relationship in the long run. Both parties should walk away feeling like they've been heard and there was understanding on both parties and rectification of behavior moving forward. That's what you both should feel when you move forward from an argument. And that's all you should be feeling. Now, we're on the last two. Learn to receive but not expect. This is a hard one. My friends. This is not an easy balance. Learning how to receive but not expect. All right. So let's just sit with this for a moment. most of us don't even know how to receive graciously. We just don't. We don't know how to live in the space of appreciation or receiving. We just don't. It's one of those things. Somebody give you a compliment. Oh, you too. Oh, you look pretty today. Oh my God, you look so pretty too. Nobody ever just sits and thank you. Because it seems rude if you don't say it back, right? But what if you didn't mean it? And what if you wasn't going to say it? We have to learn how to sit in appreciation, sit in receiving, allow him to do some stuff for you. It's fine. All right. We can't do stuff, let people do stuff without trying to do stuff back. You know what I mean? Like, when did this happen to us? When did this happen to us as women that we felt like we can't receive anything from anybody without just doing back? We aren't even aware of it. It's actually like starting to sadden me that we don't know how to receive. We feel guilty receiving. Even sexually, women have become very masculine. It's like, oh yeah, because I'm about to put it on him. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. I'm about to do this. He didn't ask for that. And yes, he's gonna enjoy it. But we have become the aggressors. When they like, okay, this is cool, but they still feel a little uncomfortable with it. Unless y'all already in a relationship and now, y'all have some equal mutual polarity in the room, but to just be going him, being the chaser, being the aggressor. I'm not talking about initiation. I'm talking about the aggressor, the giving energy, right? So if a man, even in this, my ear is bleeding, y'all. Even in this, because I banged it today. Even in this situation, like, let's just say, like, sexually, right? What most of us don't know, I know because I'm almost done. I don't know who it is, but just catch the replay. It's cool. Most of us don't know that if a man doesn't feel like he's being received well sexually, he's not having fun anymore. Like, if the woman's just acting like he's boring her or she's not enjoying it so much, then he's not really enjoying it either. So men are the givers and women are the receivers. And then in us receiving, we're giving back. Me and my sister-in-law got a joke. We buy each other lingerie or we see something, we be like, it's the gift that keeps on giving, because you're receiving, but you're actually giving by receiving. So that's the polarity of it. We have deemed our gifts the same. Like, oh, well, he gave me shoes, so I'm gonna give him shoes. No, giving to the man is the act of you receiving graciously, and he feels so appreciated by that. He feels so admired by that. When he gives you something, you just appreciate it so much. He is so on fire for that. Like, it's almost indescribable. I need to buy another phone because my thing be like, I feel like it's spying on me. Spying. Like, it's always talking to me. The next thing, the next thing we have to do is we have to learn how to receive without expectation. Expectation kills any relationship. It doesn't matter what relationship you're in, but if you expect people to just do stuff for you, you're always going to kill it. Nobody has to do anything for anybody. Repeat after me. Nobody has to do anything for anybody. Anything that somebody does for you is a gracious gift of them giving themselves, of themselves. That's it. That's it. Nobody has to offer you anything. So the fact that they do, you need to be appreciative of it. So I'm sure there's two sets of women on here, because we always do have two sets of women in the world. There's two sets of women. The first set, your husband or a mate, or you have a mate that does the very bare minimum for you. Like, he just can't get right. He does the bare minimum. He barely gets over. He don't take you nowhere. He don't buy you nothing. He don't help pay no bills. He's not doing much. Okay. This man, unfortunately, in order to get him to change, you have to start appreciating the little things that he is doing. And I don't know what that is, but you got to find it. Okay. Because men are like puppies. I don't know how else to word it. but they're like puppies. They are reward animals, reward creatures. You have to order them. You have to give them accolades. You have to give them admiration, appreciation, gratitude. You know how you talk to a puppy like, oh my God, you did so good. And the dog just be so excited. Like that's how the guys be. All right. What we don't recognize is that our recognition, our admiration, our appreciation and graciousness is like a drug to them. Remember, I said it before, it activates the oxytocin and the serotonin and the dopamine in their brain. It all goes off like a ping pong machine. Ding, 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 ding. Anytime they feel admired, appreciated, respected, these are the signals that are going off to him. All right. So then you being that to him causes him to be addicted to you and your energy, literally, because all of those hormones and chemicals are always released into his body when he feels those things: appreciation, graciousness, admiration, and you just being so truly grateful for the things that he's doing. All right. The next set of woman has a man that actually bends over backwards for them. And he does what he needs to do to take care of you, the family, the kids, the job. He does pretty much everything, but you only feel like he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. So you don't really appreciate it because you're like, I mean, this is what husbands are supposed to do. So you're doing it. That's nice. But unless you go above and beyond, I'm not going to acknowledge the regular things you're doing because that's mad regular. And that's what a husband's supposed to do. Like husbands are supposed to take their wives out. Husbands are supposed to come home, help with the car. Husbands are supposed to be the ones to take out the trash. I mean, you're doing all those things, sir, but that's not over and above the call of duty. So yeah, I mean, I'm grateful, but thanks. Then you have that woman. Now, let me give y'all a hint. This right here, this point, this core thing right here is what helps to affair-proof your home. Because contrary to popular belief, guys are not running down here trying to slay everything down. Unless, of course, he's young. Like, guy in his 20s, yes, he's trying to slay everything down because he got a point to prove to himself and everybody else. But once you get like a grown man, he all big and grown, like he not really out here trying to take down everything. Like that's not their goal. You'll be surprised how many men haven't had sex in a long time, the same way women haven't had sex in a long time, because they're not out here just slaying everything down just because they can. You know what I'm saying? But, and this is another thing too, before I get to that. They also don't need to feel something different like everybody's saying they do. Like everybody be like, oh, because a man needs to feel and see something different. No, we don't. Like TMI, but I've been having sex with my husband for 17 years. He don't act like there's nothing old about it. It's like a new candy in a candy store every time. Like he act like he just can't wait to unwrap the gift. Like, and it's been a very long time. So it's not that they got to just try something different. That's not what it is. Men just like to go where their energy and their effort is appreciated. So remember I did the Curse of the Side Chick or Side Chick Syndrome video, and I said that the family feels like work and the side chick, he doesn't have to do anything over there. So every little thing that he does, she just appreciates. And that's why he feels better over there. It's not because he love her. It's not because he want to just bang her down. She probably not even as good as you, but that doesn't matter. Why he's there is because men go where their energy feels received, where their energy feels graciously appreciated. That's why they go. Like, so again, this is not about right or wrong, but if you got a man that feels like he's going to the moon and back for you, and you can't even appreciate it, you can't even say a good thank you because, oh, well, you're supposed to do that because you're so entitled and you're just you got pretty girl syndrome and every guy is supposed to just bend over backwards for you, then now when he at, Natasha house and she's like, and he buy her some ice cream from the store and she's like, oh my God, this is my favorite ice cream ever. And then he want to hang out over there. Now you're mad. What affair proofs your home is admiration, appreciation for the masculine that's in your life. And unless he got a problem and he need to go see therapy because he's just a serial cheater and he can't stop himself, then that's usually not, he got another problem altogether. Okay. So last but not least, in your relationship, your man feels at his best and his most highest self when he is giving to you. When he brings money in, when he can protect you, when he can provide something that you need. That's when he feels his best. Something in him is like activated, like go, gadget, go. Like he just is so activated when he can provide something that you need, like advice or something tangible. Remember I told you my oil spilled and he was just like, oh my God, you want me to go get you some more? You want me to go do something? That makes them feel good. And here we are robbing them of that because we be like, no, we got it. No, we all set. No, we got it. No, we got it. Let go of the, you should be doing this anyway because you're my husband. Just let go of that. Because what if he said, you supposed to have sex with me every night because you're my wife, huh? But I don't want to do that every night. Oh, well, it don't matter. That's what you're supposed to do because wife, that's what it means. We got to let go of the expectations of what a husband and a wife should be doing and appreciate the things that they are doing so that they can do even more. Okay? Now, let me just tell y'all this. Let me just share with you guys a small story. My husband had a trigger, and this is bad. I couldn't buy him anything. I couldn't do anything for him. And I couldn't even receive graciously from him. I could not. If I seemed happy, he didn't like seeing my happiness. And the trigger for him was that every woman that he had been in a relationship with previously, or even during, after our breakup, he said anytime that a woman was super happy in his presence, meaning the woman he was with, it was because he wasn't happy. So meaning like, I don't know what the word is, but maybe they won or whatever it was. But anytime the woman was happy, that meant that he wasn't happy. And I said, what does that even mean? He said, I'm trying to explain it. He said, but I had always said that the woman I married, I got to be okay with seeing her smile. He said, because some of these women out here are savages and they're so manipulative. And when they're smiling, that means because you're not. They just got one over on you. And I was like, wow, that's a trigger. That's a trauma response. He was like, nah, no, for real, definitely. And I remember the other day I was in the living room and I was watching something on YouTube and he was in his office and he was like, and I was chuckling. I was like, like I laughed out loud and he came out smiling. He was like, what was so funny? I was like, I don't know, something up here. He was like, but do you know that me hearing you laugh just made me smile so much? He was like, it just made me smile. And I was like, why? And he was like, I don't know, because it's just good to hear your laughter. It's good to see you smile. And he said, I just want to apologize because I took that away from you for so many years. Like you would be so happy doing something with me or for me, but you had to hold back your smile because the moment that I smiled, he would get nervous. Like, oh yeah, well, nah, I ain't like, I could be so happy about something like, oh my God, thank you so much. You did this. I'm jumping on him, hugging him. He like, yeah, it's all right. Nah, that's fine. Like the moment I got super happy, he just was like, nah, I don't want you super happy. So I will always subdue it. Like, oh, thank you. That's nice. I appreciate it. Thanks. Because I knew that if I did that, if I was super happy, he wouldn't do it again. And that's what I mean when I say everything's not a cookie cutter situation, because my husband actually had a trauma response to that. Now he wants to see me smiling all the time. He loves to hear me laugh, and I laugh all the time. Everything is funny to me. So, now after he apologized, like, I took that away from you for so many years. He's actually super open to making me laugh all the time and doing stuff and buying stuff just to see me smile. Like, it's amazing how somebody can shift like that. But that was a terrible trauma response. Like it put me through trauma and I ain't deserve that. You know what I'm saying? Like we had another joke, like, how like The Color Purple, where the guy was like, which one I should wear, the red tie or the blue tie? And she was like, I like the blue one. And he picked the red one. So I would actually do that to my husband on purpose. He'd be like, what shoes should I wear, the black ones or the brown ones? And I'll be like, if I like the black ones, I'll be like, the the brown ones. And he'd be like, yeah, I think I should just wear the black though, because of the nice. Like, I know. And finally he caught on to that's what I was doing. So now if he'd be like, babe, which one I should wear, the brown jacket or the blue jacket? I'll be like, the blue one. And he'd be like, okay, I'm gonna wear the brown. Then he'll go, hey, which one? I just be like, because honestly, I don't care which one you wear. Like, whichever one you like. So, but now he knows that I'll pick the opposite one. So now he knows I really meant the other one, but now he can't call it. So he'd be like, but it's weird that men just have these weird quirks about them that we will never know. And we will never, ever, 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 ever understand because we don't operate like them. All right. So back to this, the devotion program. All right. When a man sees you radiantly and graciously receiving him, he will have the stamina to keep going for you. That's what you need. You need him to have the stamina to keep doing, to keep going, to keep producing, to keep loving, to keep respecting, to keep admiring you. That's what you want. And that is only activated by your appreciation. If you do not give appreciation for the time, energy, and effort, you act like you're just neutral about it, they will lose interest in doing for you. Again, we're talking about activating the devotion program. This is not right or wrong. Just do you want to activate the devotion program? Okay. Let go of expectations. And we as women, we got to focus more on the effort than the result. Okay. Women need to focus more on the effort than the result. Did he put effort into making you happy? Did he put effort into this? I don't care if my husband makes me a cake and it's flat in the middle. I am so appreciative of the fact that you thought about doing it for me. I don't care that the cake flattens in the middle. None of that matters. If you buy me a pair of shoes and they're too big or too small, I'm just so grateful that you bought the shoes. You thought about me when you were in the store. Like, thank you. That's amazing. But there's women out here that are actually like, so you mean to tell me you don't even know my shoe size after all these years? Like, that's what you're telling me? All right, never mind. Just take them back. It's fine. I don't even want them now. Like, then you wonder why it take a month of Sundays for him to do the one little thing you asked him to do. Or he don't enjoy being around you. We wonder these things. Then we be mad. Like, men are so simple, but we don't know how to draw this devotion program out of him because of our conditioning. It's our conditioning. It's how we grew up. It's how we were raised. It's what media tells us, what TV tells us, what social media tells us. We're following trends. We're doing all this stuff. And I don't follow trends, y'all. I'd be like, listen, do it work for me? No, then I'm not doing it. The end. All right. So there's a big difference, ladies, in knowing you deserve something and feeling entitled to it. Okay. Those are two different things. Now, women deserve devotion from a man, but somewhere, somehow, our upbringing, just being let down time and time again by these bums out here, the guys that you thought were going to be it, they weren't it. They tricked you. They manipulated you. They used you. All of these things out here have caused us to develop these walls and these bricks around our heart that kills our vulnerability, which in essence cultivates our femininity, right? So we've decided that we can do it ourselves because we're like, we don't need all that heartbreak. We don't need all this extraness. Okay, we can do it ourselves. We don't need this. We don't need that from you. When you do something for me, that's fine. You like it. I love it. You know, I love to have it, but I don't need it, you know, kind of thing. And that is doing a disservice to us as the feminine pole. You know what I mean? And it may be a conscious thing that we're doing. Like, you know, I don't need you. And it's fine that you're doing it. Or it might be unconscious. We might not even know that we're doing it because we're just programmed to do it. But when a man does finally come around who wants to devote himself to you, his gifts and his energy are pushed away by you. I did a client really quickly because I got to go because I kept y'all for 2 hours and I meant for it to only be an hour and 30 minutes. I had a client the other day who told me she met a man and she said he's a really nice guy. He's a little bit younger than her. But then she told me that he's doing all these things. He's a great guy, but she doesn't trust him. And she pushes everything he does away. And I said, oh, you need more healing. Whatever happened to you, whatever you went through in your ex-marriage or whatever you went through, that has decided for you how you're going to move forward in this situation. This guy is not that guy. You got to give him a fair shot. And if you can't offer him a fair shot, then you need to go do some more healing and then come back into the game, come back to the drawing board. But don't get in the game knowing you ain't go to practice at all. And now you out here in the game and you messing everything up. This guy just came around and you damn near pushing him away. Now, this is how I talk when I'm doing my Brazilian waxing, because I got to keep them talking so they don't feel the pain. But I was getting on her case. I was like, girl, that man gonna get out here and find something else. You really like them, but you're blatantly admitting that you can't help, you can't stop pushing them away. But girl, read a book, get some therapy. I got some recommendations you can read at night, listen to some podcasts, get on here. I don't know, but girl, you got some more healing to do. So this is hurtful and it's insulting to a man because, repeat after me, men need to feel needed. Period. With the T at the end. Men need to feel needed. They don't want to feel wanted. They don't care about being wanted. Women want to feel wanted. Men want to feel needed. There is a difference. They want to know that you need their energy. You need their presence. You need their gifts. You need what they offer you. Now, y'all deduce everything to money. I like to think that I make good money. I don't have to offer it to my husband for anything. But there's other things I need from him besides money. And I mean, when I say need, I'm talking about need. Okay? I need it. There's no way I can go without it. But guess what? He feels that when he's in my presence. So that causes him to want to produce more. If you have a nonchalant, careless, neutral attitude, like, I mean, I could take you or leave you because I could do this by myself. First of all, you're lying. I was driving to work the other day. It was mad dark because this was before daylight savings. And I was looking, it was cold outside. I remember coming outside going, oh, it's brisk. This was like 2 weeks ago. And it was a construction worker outside in this ditch. And he was looking at this other guy. And he was like, yeah, you got to grab this and you got to put this down there. And I'm like, and I looked out there and I looked at him through my window and he saw me staring at him because I couldn't stop looking. I was just staring at him. And he looked at me and he did like that. And I rolled my window down because I was at a red light. And I said, I just want you to know I appreciate you. Like, whatever it is you doing in that ditch, that's lit. Because I could never. Like, we get so cocky. Oh, we don't need them. We don't need them. There's some guy early in the morning in the dark when it's freezing cold in a ditch for us, building something that we know nothing about. And because we got our little podcast, we rent our little chair at a salon and we got our little nail tech license and we do some massages or some spas or we run some shows that we're so lit. We don't need men here anymore. If we don't come up off that high horse, that's crazy. Like I said, I'm gonna be nice. So I'm gonna get off of that real quick. But I just thought about that. Like I was like, oh my God, I appreciate you. He's like, wow, sis, thank you so much. I know he felt good after that because it was like, who notices that they're down there doing that? Like nobody. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, let's get back, we deserve the devotion, but men need to feel needed, not in a codependent, needy, crazy way though. They want to feel needed in a way where you need their energy and you enjoy being around them. You like what they offer. You love what they bring to the table. Now, a lot of times women like to showcase their strength and their independence. Like we try to wrap ourselves in a cloak of strength and independence. And we walk around with this strength and independence coat on every day. And when we do that, we won't take the man's help. We won't receive the man's help. And that's usually because our whole identity is wrapped up in being independent and strong. But men don't need this kind of strength around them. They have their own. They don't need to see that from us. As a matter of fact, they don't care to see it. Like, that's nice and all, but where's your softness? Where's your heart? Because that's what I need to take care of. That's what I need to do. All right. So leave that kind of strength to the men because they're supposed to have that. Our strength is in being vulnerable. That's where our strength is. All right. The more strength you try to have, the more you act like you could do, the more independent you are, the less he's going to step up. Period. That's it. The more you do, the less he will do. All right. But what a man does need from a woman, he needs her softness. He needs her vulnerability. He needs her childlike essence. Men love that. I don't know if you noticed how men are with their daughters. They love them so much. And it's because they exhibit a softness and a childlike essence that they can't get anywhere else. So men like to see that in their wives. And they don't want you to be dumber than a bag of bricks, but they like your childlike innocence. They love that. When you try to get on and step on the stage with him and be with the big dogs, like, yeah, I got it. I could do it. I could do what you do. And I could do. That's not attractive to them. Ilk. Never mind. I'm good. You can go sit over there though. That's literally how they be feeling. And lastly, the man's inner vision needs to lead the relationship, period. His inner vision needs to determine how things are going to go based on his standards. That sounds scary, right? Because he can't submit to your standards. He can't lead without feeling devotion for you. So it sounds unfair, right? And it sounds like a recipe kind of for like an unhappy woman. Oh, everything got to go his way. He don't got to worry about my standards. No, but that doesn't mean that. It's not unfair, because a man who is leading, and a man who's leading underneath his vision of how he wanted things to go, a primary concern for a devoted man is his wife, her heart, and how she feels. That's it. Like when he's truly devoted and he's truly leading, he cares about how you feel. He cares about hurting you. He doesn't want you to feel like that. So it's not like he's going to be some brute and he just like, yeah, my way or the highway, or you need to get going, because they don't usually act like that. Not unless they're super immature or they're not really truly masculine. So he won't want to incorporate his woman's standards in his inner vision, but he will want to incorporate her heart. A truly devoted man will keep his woman's heart front and center in his vision, leading to make her feel safe, happy, respected, and loved. This will become the standard that he creates for his inner vision. It will be of utmost importance to him. I promise you that. A devoted man takes his woman's heart deadly serious. Like, I just think of my dad, like, and how devoted he was to my mother. Like, he would have died for that woman. Like, he would have, if he had the choice to give his life for hers, he would have. If he had it didn't matter what was happening, he was going to take care of my mother. It didn't matter what job he lost, what job he got. He was going to always make sure my mother and her needs and what she wanted came first. He never faltered from that. He never wavered from that. That was never a part of the vocabulary that my dad was selfish, self-centered, egotistical, and did everything for himself. He did not. Everything that he did, my mom's heart and what she needed and wanted was always in the forefront of his mind, without always her having to say it. Now, I'm sure she did say it sometimes because that's relationship. But that was like the program. Like, it was almost like the devotion program for him was just there, and he just operated in it. The more apt you are to these tendencies that I went over today, the more you will activate that devotion program on the inside of him. Okay. The more, it's not about the standards anymore. It's about the heart. Like, I hate dishes in the sink at night. That's like a pet peeve of mine. And now, like, I noticed that, like, my husband puts all the dishes in the dishwasher at night before we go to bed, because he's usually the one that's cooking last. And I know he's not doing that because I'm going to nag, because technically I'm not going to say anything. I'm never going to say anything. And I'm not going to walk around with an attitude either. But I'm noticing that these are things that he's doing now out of his own heart. He just knows the fact that I don't like it. But I'm not saying, can you please put those in the dishwasher tonight? Can you please remember to clean the kitchen? And vice versa. He can't stand leaving with the bed unmade in the morning. So in the morning, if I happen to be running late, because he goes and takes the kids to school in the morning and comes back and I'm still there. And if I happen to be running late, I'll be like, oh my God, babe, I'm so sorry. I didn't make the bed this morning because I didn't really have the time. But he'll go, oh, don't worry about it. I got it. And then I know it's some doofy woman out there that's like, why are you apologizing for not making a bed? I mean, it's both y'all, but y'all both sleep in it. So, I mean, he can make it. It's not about that. And that's why, my friend, you'll never get it. because you're so busy worried about who's winning. You're so busy worried about whether you feel strong or he feel weak, or you shouldn't have to ask him, or he shouldn't even question it. It doesn't matter. It's something I know he doesn't like. So I make sure that I try my best not to do it. And vice versa, because of the devotion, because of the love, not because nobody's making you do it. That is the whole point of the show tonight, is activating the devotion program so that he doesn't feel forced. He doesn't feel like you're moving his hand. He doesn't feel like you're trying to make him do stuff. All of this will cause him to lose devotion, and then he will only be doing things out of a chore based mode for you. It'll be like he's just like when you tell the kids they gotta sweep the floor. Most men, I promise you, feel like they living with their mother. That's not sexy. We need to bring sexy back in our relationships. And the way we bring sexy back is by getting the polarity back to where it's supposed to be. All right? Listen, y'all, this stuff works, okay? And let me just say this. Lastly, these things will not change overnight, y'all. I know people be like, oh my God, I tried it. It was like 2 weeks and he didn't even do what I thought he was going to do. These things will not change overnight at all. Please don't expect it to. We have this microwave society where we just want everything to happen as soon as we put it in the microwave. 2 minutes, minute plus. Hurry up. Get hot and I want it now. It doesn't happen that way. I got people that come to me older, in my aesthetics business, and they got mad wrinkles. They all old. And I'd be like, what do you want me to do today? Well, I want you to make me look young today. Ma'am. The same way that didn't happen overnight. You looking old looking like that, it's not going to go away overnight either. It's going to take time to reverse what you did. Same here. Okay. If you have been mothering, if you have been coddling, if you have been leaning in and not leaning back, if you have been controlling, if you have been not knowing how to be vulnerable, not activating your feminine communication, if you have been doing all these things, it's going to take time to reverse it. It's not going to happen overnight. And because it happened to me, I'm the poster child, y'all. And if your relationship has been having trouble in this area, it'll take more time, just like them damn wrinkles. But if you haven't hit the issues yet, or they're small, this will be like preventative maintenance for you. And now you got new information, and things for you will shift much faster because you haven't gotten so far gone that you got to switch everything back. And he got so much to learn and you got so much to learn. You know what I mean? Like it'll shift a little faster for you. And last thing too, I've been hearing lately where women are saying this, like, I'm not going to die or wait forever, to get what I want from a man, or I'm going to get from what I want from somebody. Understand this, please. Understand this. You will have to go through this with every single relationship that you embark upon, especially a new one. Okay. There are no shortcuts to this. I wish it was. It's like somebody to go to the gym and then somebody to go get a tummy tuck. Like, you could have worked out, but you didn't. You took a shortcut, which is fine. Again, to each his own. But the shortcuts don't give the results because you don't know how to maintain it. Okay? So nothing should be a shortcut. Everything should be work, dedication, time, and sacrifice to get what it is that you want. So there's no shortcuts to this. All right? By leaving, you are only making it take longer for yourself to get it, because the process has to happen no matter who you're with. So you could try it with, James that you got now, that's getting on your nerves, and y'all done make up to break up, mad times. You could try it with him now, or you can get with Tyrone and try it with him. But either way, it's going to take time, and you're going to have to do it. You got to have patience. Like, you just have to have patience. All right. So now you have a choice. Once I said that, because this has to happen with no matter who you're with, how much better will it be to do it with somebody that you already love and that you've already invested mad time with? I mean, it's your call. I know for me, I didn't want no return on my investment. Like again, I believe in like money and numbers. Like if I've invested all of these years, right? And then now I just be like, I'm gonna just go get somebody new. I could have been one more quarter away from the jackpot before I gave up and walked away and turned around. Or I could have started with somebody new and had to start all the way from back here again anyway. Your choice, your call. My job is to just give you the information, okay? So again, it's not wrong or right. It's just about whether you want to activate the devotion program. All right. So, with that being said, I kept you guys way too long. This is crazy. And I'm going to let y'all go. I love y'all and have a great night. And my apologies for those who watched the replay because my camera wasn't on mute and I yelled my son's name mad loud because he was yelling in the hallway at the dogs. So, I'm sorry about that. But, you know, it's all love. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.